Hello, yeah, wrong. And welcome to Live 233, Adrian Allen's Theatre of the Mind. Hopefully, I'm not looking too bright, but that's right. Just give me 2 seconds. Let me see how that looks. Oh, that'll do. Welcome to Live 233, and we'll get into the parish notes in just a moment. Lots to talk about tonight. We can talk about the live last night if you wish. If you have any questions or you have any anything that you want to say, more than happy to be engaged by that. But there is a lot to be going on with. And before anybody asks, this for me cough, doctor's appointment tomorrow afternoon. So hopefully they'll give me some of those very magical tablets that make it disappear. But I do have extra strong hibiscus with me this evening. Oh, God, that's hot. Hang on. Firstly, I must say thank you to Janet Percival, who allowed me to interview her last night. I hope that the insight was of value to you. Janet told a lot of stone cold, hard truths last night on the live. And I think that will stand us in good stead at any point in the future, because it's an historical document. And it'll stay there. It will stay there. There is a lot of things going on in the background that for the moment I'm not going to bring here. But as soon as I can, I will. You know that. And as soon as I'm given the go-ahead, I will tell you exactly what's going on. Dear Lord. So parish notes this evening for a little while. Neil Cunningham says, Rev, congratulations on a fantastic live last night. Janet was brilliant and Adrian gave a masterclass in interviewing. Short and to the point questions, and then don't interrupt the answer. That's the whole art of, let me just grab this, that's the whole art of interviewing. Not that I'm an expert, not that I've done it much before, but I did my best, and Janet was brilliant. Janet was fantastic. And I was so honoured and happy to have Janet on my life. If she is watching, because I know there's a huge time difference between what we do on the lives and not, I will just extend my many thanks. Thank you. And she was just brilliant. Because there's one thing in life, you can't actually argue with facts. You can't. And as much as some people may, you were just peppered with all the facts last night. So, as I say, thank you to Janet and to Paul, of course, who are currently in Costa Rica. And thankfully, we had a stable connection, because I did expect a plan B to kick in when the connection dropped out. But, you know, the gods must have been with us. They must have wanted it to be aired and everybody to know what had gone on, and sort of lifted the veil and gave you some insight into what was going on behind the scenes, before the court case, during the court case, and subsequently. So, beautiful. I can't say thank you enough. And thank you to you. If you were in the comments and you were in the body of the Kirk last night, thank you for everything, all your support. I am going to do a big thank you. I'll do it once we start at 7:30, because I'm blown away by your support, just simply blown away. We'll let everyone get their feet in the pews, in the starmers. Tonight we'll deliver a sermon full of more truths from the pulpit of truth. But I just want to connect with everybody that's in the body of the Kirk at the moment. Andrew James says, Piers Morgan needs to take a lesson from the Rev. Piers has to talk over people who he disagrees with. I can't stand the ex-Mirror man Pratt. Tell it like it is, Andrew. Paulie Galtieri says, good evening, Adrian. Yeah, utter wrong. Hope you've had a good day. It's been interesting. The adrenaline is, and if I can be so bold, having been in the media and, more importantly, radio for 40 years, the whole thing behind presenting live radio shows is controlling the adrenaline. And last night, the adrenaline was so off the charts. I mean, I might have looked as if I wasn't doing anything, but I was doing a lot during the interview. And when I finished, I couldn't come down from it. The adrenaline was just rushing, buzzing. So I didn't get to sleep till 4 o'clock this morning, almost Costa Rican time. And so today's been an interesting day, a very interesting day. More things happening in the background, more people coming forward and telling me things. So thank you, Paulie. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Neil Cunningham says, all right, okay. Tom Harney's evening all, as a wrong-un philosopher once said, no matter how large or small your Battenberg, they all smell the same in the end. Cracking live last night. Rev, very informative. Thank you, Tom. Yeah, Stuart says, evening, Adrian. Really enjoyed the Janet Percival interview last night. It was good to hear her side of the story. She was a delight to have on the channel. I completely agree, Stuart. I completely agree. And it's, I'm not going to name any individuals or group of people for the simple reason is if you're putting forward a narrative that is wholly based on lies by a self-confessed liar twice in the High Court, and that the police will see as a course of conduct. Thank you, Neil. Thank you. Sorry, it's come up on my phone, but it's not come up on my screen, so I will get to it in a moment and say thank you for you. And it's deemed a course of conduct. So, you know, if you've lied twice in the High Court, it's very easy to just label you a liar for the rest of your life. And there are other things that are in place for the rest of some people's lives that never go away until you take your last breath, or his last breath, or her last breath. But they're there for safety and for reasons. Paul Mabley says, I wonder, evening Stuart, welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Paul Mabley says, I wonder if we get to find out why the Rev was lisping last night. I was going to point it out, but then it might have been a little gauche considering the circumstances. Paul, a lot of people pointed the lisping out. So I thought, lisping? Me? Moi? I'm going to go and have a look. So I went and have a look and I thought, it sounds like I'm lisping. Now, you'll know that this is back to normal. So you can see that I'm not lisping. There's no teeth missing other than my boxing wounds and injuries, my martial arts injuries. And I don't know what it was. I know that Janet was coming through really crystal clear and crisp. And that's all that really mattered. I didn't care what I looked like or sounded like. It was about Janet telling her stories, telling her truths, telling her lived experience. And someone asked me today, why do you say lived experience? Because there's a difference between an opinion and something that you've been through. So if someone has an opinion on something, court case or legal process, it is just simply that. Opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. But when it's a lived experience, when you've lived through it, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, that's your story to tell. And legally, you are obliged and allowed to tell your lived experience, which is why when I started doing this channel, I told anyone that was viewing and listening, this is my lived experience. I went through this personally, so I'm allowed to do it. And so that's why I said that. Very interesting that people didn't quite grasp that. So thank you, Paul. No lisping this evening. Andrew James says, has the Rev did an excellent live for us? Shall we buy him 2 tickets to see Kerry Catone next month? What, both of her? Bloody hell, I've got to subscribe to her channel and seen all of her. That's very funny, Andrew. Thank you. Sandra Whittam says, hey, great live last night with Janet, Rev. The eyes should have been open to anyone who believed the Dougie version. Well, pays your money and you takes your choice, Sandra. People will believe, as Janet said last night, he will have people that believe him. And the reason why there's a lot of people here for this channel is because we're critical thinkers. We're not necessarily fixated on one person or one subject or one thing. We look at the world with a very different view. and we understand the geopolitical sphere. We understand what's going on in this country. We understand before anybody else works it out. We understand because we're critical thinkers, and we come here to be part of the body of the Kirk, because that way we are talking with like-minded people. And look, every now and again we will get people that disagree, and that's fantastic, because truth can be tested, but truth will always win. When lies are tested, they fall into disarray and into pieces. The truth is always the strongest. So thank you, Sandra. I'm still thinking about the Kerry Katona tickets. Andy B says, wow, what an interesting 24 hours, Rev. Just listened to I Am That YouTube channel. I'll check that out a little later. Thank you, Andy. I see you says, me too, game on, methinks. About time this nasty creature was called out. Well, people can do whatever they want. They can talk about any subject they want on YouTube. That's what it's here for. It's kind of, I know that X, or formerly Twitter, Elon Musk says it's the not the marketplace, it's the village square where people will gather and talk about stuff. If we didn't have X, can you imagine the world we will be living in right now? It's bad enough as it is, but at least we can get some semblance of truth out. So I see you. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. And Andy B. Des Ashton says, no, then, wrong'uns, what shall we have with our Battenbergery tonight in the UK? Oh, some interesting stuff, Des. Some proper interesting stuff. Neil Cunningham says, France has lost another prime minister. Isn't it 7 under Macron? I mean, is he doing to the prime ministers of France what he's doing to his husband? With all due respect, of course. But I did see that Liz Truss is considering applying for the job. I am going to mention France because it's just, and as I said many times over the past few weeks, France, en français. No, I can't. I'm not even going to try. But they're going to the IMF. Hello, we are France. We need money. So is Germany. Germany's, woo, their economy's tanking into, well, you know, Rachel Reeves and a big black hole. You know where that's going. Foxtrot Oscar. Rich says, that was an awesome insight into AB's investigation. You should negotiate with Janet to do a TV documentary. It's got to be a Netflix true crime program on day for sure. One day for sure. Rich, you know me. I'll tell you when I can tell you. But incoming! That's all I'm going to say. Sandra says, I like the video. What oh, bloody hell. Adrian. A bit like my sex life. My hands are too heavy. Oh, that's Neil. Thank you, Neil. I've just, there's loads and loads and loads. I think we're getting very close to 5:30. But thank you again for your support and for everyone's support last night. It was a real honour and a privilege to be able to do that. And also, hang on a second. 4 a.m. If I'd known that would have brought you into a conversation I had, you would have loved it. Oh, Terry, you're wronging. Spill. You can do it in email if you want. But yeah, and any time I do like a 2.5 hour live, it takes, I think it's an age thing. When I was in my 20s and I was doing commercial radio, and it was proper romantic, it was just swashbuckling, and it was, and I'd go home and go to sleep. Mind you, I probably hadn't slept for 24 or 48 hours, but that's what I would do. Now, with the age thing, it's like, oh, what do I do? Do I eat? Do I sleep? And the older you get, it's, oh, I'll have a small tincture with a bite to eat. So that's how it is. That's literally how it is. In your 20s and 30s and 40s, oh, you can handle the adrenaline. But the older you get, holy Jesus. So thank you to everyone that's in the body of the Kirk. I mean, I would like to say thank you and hello to everyone, but we're getting close to 7:30. Michelle D, cracking interview last night. Can you mention anything about the Fabian group? Oh, Michelle! I've done, yes, in a second. That's all judges, barristers, Starmers, Blairs, and others are members of. Thank you, Michelle. For you, I've already scoped out something that I want to talk about around the Fabian Society, because it's not just a Fabian Society, and people that just don't do their in research. I'm very well aware because I've got some of their books. Have you heard of the name Madame Blavatsky? Have you heard she's a psychic medium woman occultist back in the day? Have you heard of Annie Besant, who was sort of her protege? All members of the Fabian Society. And there's an inner working of the Fabian Society. So, Michelle, yes, for you. What day is it? Monday? I'll do it tomorrow. It may take me 24 hours to kind of add stuff. I'm just kind of part of my archive is there. Part of my archive is there. But I know more about the Fabian Society than a lot of people just kind of do the surface stuff. Now, obviously, George Bernard Shaw is one of the luminaries, one of the greater writers, and being part of it. But literally, the front bench of the bloody Labour Party, they're all Fabians. Wolf in sheep's clothing. The problem is, when the Fabian Society started, and what did it start from? I'm going to tell you that in my video. What they started wolf in sheep's clothing. But they didn't have Twitter, they didn't have YouTube, because everybody just goes, "Ooh, will it get clicks and likes? If I make this, will it get views?" I literally don't care about clicks, maybe likes, because then it tells the algorithm that there's a lot of interesting stuff going on. Was Savile a member of the Fabian? No. It would explain a few events around him. No. He didn't need to be part of the Fabian Society. He had the ears and friendship of the elite in society. Because now, if I'd said to you at the beginning of this channel, and I realise we're just past half past, if I'd said to you 3 years ago, well, the world's run by paedophiles, you would, and I can say that, you can't say that in the comment because I'm not monetizing this. Let me just take Sandra's point for a moment. If you get convicted of driving offences, you be banned from driving. So why, if Dougie's been convicted of cyber crimes, cyber offences, why is he allowed to be online and on several social networks? I completely agree with you, Sandra. There was a time where the police looked at everything. I mean, it was the days of the Facebook domestic, where cops had to go. So somebody on Facebook, like Mr. Allen, had gone, "Oh, me missus makes shite cheese scones." And then the missus would go, "Oh, yeah, you and your doodah, what-oh. Oh, is that a domestic online? Yeah, Facebook, and the cops were like, "Oh dear Lord," pulling their hair out because they were having to deal with like man and wife or partners. Domestic is any member of the family, immediate family, so it could be mum, dad, son, daughter, immediate family. They would have to go and investigate. It was on Facebook, but then the police changed everything, and they said if it was cyber enabled. So if and I'm not sure Nottinghamshire police would be happy with this, but if there's, say, an address in Nottinghamshire where online abuse is emanating from, then that is cyber enabled, and they would go to where the computer is based. So sometimes you have these evil PDFs, as is the vernacular nowadays, but these paedophiles, say one is in Glasgow and he normally comes down to London to meet somebody. The cybercrime is with Glasgow, because it's not where he is, it's how he's groomed the individual. Now, if there's anybody with more legal expertise than I, or even any of the Rosas, the Blues, if anybody knows more than that, please just put me right, because I'm not here to be the arbiter of truth. I preach from the pulpit of truth with a little inside knowledge. So I don't think Savile was. I don't know whether the police continue with cyber enabled, because they change it because governments. Oh, right, okay. Terry says at the moment, probation can inspect his phone and laptop. However, they can't restrict what he does, only act on what he says. Let me get into the live tonight. If we want to discuss that situation, then we can do. I'm not against discussing it, but we had, and also we had, 90 minutes of really intense discussion last night with Janet Percival. And I thought that we just needed to sort of land differently today. So it's not really intense. But I know that emotions are running high at the moment, and I don't want to inflame anything. I don't want to create anything. I just want people to understand the truth. That's all I'm about on this channel. And whether it's my lived experience or somebody else's, or even yours. Because, Laird Wookfit, he's a pretty sharp chap. And I take what... Yes, Theo Bovril, you now use the term PDF files. I think everybody is kind of accepting of that vernacular. But, there's a lot of very, very wise and intelligent people in the body of the Kirk. And I love that, because if I get it wrong, somebody will go, oi, yeah, wrong, and you got it wrong. Brilliant. Hands up, mea culpa, got it wrong. But I will always look at and take an education from somebody who's a little more wise than I, and I'm offering that to Laird Wookfit. Yeah, wrong. Let me get to the bottom. So the reason why Pura Vida Paul, Adrian, I've just popped in on my way out the door to thank you for the way you looked after my wife last night. I'm forever grateful. You are most welcome, young sir. Enjoy your day. As I said, I'm a man of integrity. I like to keep my integrity, and my actions match my words. So that's very, very kind of you. Thank you. Terry Wookfit, doesn't matter. He will be under a restriction not to erase anything on his computer until it has been inspected by probation. So a VPN won't help hide anything when they look at the browser. How weird, man. He's... Well, no, I'm not going to say anything, because that would be accusing somebody of something that might not actually be true. So Rebel says, she was marvellous, Paul. Oh, we're all a big fan. Fantastic. She's very eloquent and erudite, and long words that I won't use. I'll just say she was fantastic. David Graham. By the way, I predicted that I reckon that Sinner would beat Alcaraz 3-1 in the US Open final last night. Sadly, it was 3-1 to Alcaraz instead. Good job. I didn't have a bet on. Yeah, David, good job. I mean, my mum was a big tennis fan. But I don't know who plays tennis now. So, to everyone in the body of the Kirk, thank you. To everyone in the body of the Kirk, welcome to the Theatre of the Mind, live number 233. And I want to say a heartfelt thank you. And I'm not going to start wringing me hands, and I'm not going to start hugging trees and shit. I'm from the northeast, man. I'm from Sunderland. We don't do that. We eat very strong curries and drink beer. So when it comes to saying thank you to you, it's a little embarrassing. I'm a grown-ass man, but I'm also the man behind the Theatre of the Mind, which hit 10,000 subs yesterday, and that's blown me away. At the beginning of the channel, I didn't know where it was going to go, what it was going to do, but I just want to say thank you to you in a way that it will land with you, because 10,000 subs, according to the figures I've seen, 95% of YouTube channels don't get to make 10,000 subs. I mean, obviously, you've got Mr. Beast and other people who've got like millions and millions and millions. But I'm not looking at that audience. I'm looking at critical thinkers. I'm looking at an older audience, and this audience is 25 plus. So we can get rid of the vestiges of youth and the exuberance of youth, and then start getting into life and understanding what goes on in life. Amalia, thank you. And you've been here from virtually the beginning. Just brilliant, Adrian. Well deserved. Modeler man, hugging trees and shit. It's a technical term, modeler man, that we use in radio. Stuart says, congratulations on the 10K, Adrian. Shane Hall, congratulations, Adrian. You deserve it. Thank you to everyone. Great interview yesterday. It's a shame Janet has left the force. We need more police like her. I completely agree, Rusty's roamings. Les Griffiths, that's the difference between them and us, correct. Des Ashton in the UK, the crazies have definitely taken over the asylum. Let them. Honestly, it's like Gotham. I don't know whether you ever watch any of the Batman stuff, especially the TV series. Just let them. Because we know the difference between right and wrong, and we know the difference between somebody who's sane and somebody who's not. Now, I might have been tarred with all of those brushes, but it was just, I was so busy over the last couple of days. Ghetto Defendant. Congratulations, Adrian. I, for one, am hooked on the Theatre of the Mind. You're very kind, Ghetto Defendant. And thank you for being one of the first guests on the Theatre of the Mind just a couple of weeks ago. And that was fantastic. The walk fit. No, mate, I haven't. I just sit in the back of the day room and watch. Always watch. Yeah. You'd make a good Buddhist-led walk fit, because just observe the observer observing. Now, that might go over a few people's heads, but it's because it's very deep. And I don't mean to do that. I don't mean to belittle anyone. Hang on. I don't know how to do that. It's the Saints. Oh, bugger. But I can't see your full name. But thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your super like or super thanks, or thank you very much for that. So, to everyone that's been part of this this little channel, and I don't want to have millions of people watching it, because then you go onto radars that people go, oh, hang on a second, he's influencing people. We can't have people thinking other than what we tell them to think, and I will be talking about that tonight. Les Griffith says, every road crossing that had the red cross of St. George sprayed on the white stripes has had white paint sprayed over them, courtesy of the council wankers. Wankers? Les, how much does that cost the local councils? It's something to be proud of. Aidan Wellsmith says, I've just started on YouTube. I think it's going to take some effort to get to 5k. There are many ways and means. Getting to 10,000 means that other things can happen. You seemingly get a manager from YouTube. I mean, can you imagine? Hello, is that the wrong one? Yeah. Oh, I'm your manager at YouTube. Oh, dear Lord. Off you go. No, I'm joking. Carl Shaw, can't always watch them live, but never miss an episode. Brilliant, Carl. Thank you. And that's why what I've done with Janet's interview last night is I've cut it up into 3 parts, because sometimes people can't watch 90 minutes or 2.5 hours. So I've just edited it down and put it in front of different eyeballs, so the truth will do its own work. Rusty's Roamings. Oh, the Saints number one. Saints number one. Thank you very much for your support and kindness. I do appreciate it. Everybody that does that, I truly appreciate it. Channels can get too big. It's just gone totally tits up for Rate My Takeaway. I said, really? Should we start a new channel? Rate My Battenberg. Oh, hang on a second. Ghetto Defendant. Oh, I say, what is going on with the Ghetto Defendant? Hot Pants or Daisy Dukes? Oh, don't. Daisy Dukes. Shall we all just have a minute? Right. Tablock Tracy says, it's taken me 12 months to hit 1,000 subs. Ray Gordon says, Adrian, you don't influence me just as long as I'm tuned in every day. Brilliant. Welcome to the Body of the Kirkroy. And Soul Rebel, they played it so straight, though. Great stuff and amazing villains, too. Oh, no, Stuart. Can you imagine? Hello, it's Sister Mary. I'm your manager now. On your knees. Sister Mary, please. The Rev goes boing. Oh, not a first, let me tell you. At least the News of the World never found out. And YouTube could give you Beckham as your manager. Hello, my name's David. Is that Adrian? Brilliant. I'm your manager. Can I use it for PR for Brand Beckham? No, you can't. So thank you to everyone. Thank you for all your very kind comments, and thank you for your support. 3 years in, and we reached 10,000 subs. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I must be doing something right-ish. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, Ginger's Ferrigals. Ginger Nads is in town. We're going to talk about him. What else is on the sermon this evening? Well, I just wanted to say thank you for not you. You're just one of the body of the Kirk. 10,000 of you. We're going to talk about Three Eye Atlas. Now, I'm kind of half. Can you see that? I'll leave that image in your mind. And I don't know whether it's just being used to scare the bejesus out of us, or whether it is like little grey men, little green men, little yellow men, any colour that they want. It's So we'll do that first. America is outraged. Oi, 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 oi. Wait till I tell you what's going on in America. Golden Nadgers, he's here in Blighty. So we'll talk about him. I'm going to talk about, we'll have a little music interlude tonight as well. And remember, Thursday is the 24th anniversary of 9/11. So I don't know whether we'll do a live on Thursday. Not sure. I think people, it's enough. Maybe we do it on Wednesday night before we head into 9/11. So that's the 11th of September before you start. Have you seen the new Banksy at the Royal Courts? Oh, we're going to mention that because I think we're living under, what can I say? 1984. And I was just thinking randomly off the top of my head, we may talk about this. Do you know in 2033, which is not far away, it's 2025 now, so 8 years. Do you know in 2033, it'll be 2,000 years since the birth of the Christ? Just for reference, in case it comes onto your radar, just in case these little green men that arrive in November suddenly go, oh yeah, our mate, Jesus, Yahweh. Well, however you want to describe him, because he's not Jesus. It's just kind of a made-up name. It wasn't. He was Jewish. He wasn't called Jesus. My hairy backside. We'll talk about Labour and the politics of envy, because that's what they are. The Tories, they're just shaggers and sleaze. But it's always the money with the Labourites. It's always the money. Because, well, I mean, from council estates, they're probably going to get some. The Tories, spanking rent boys, doing auto asphyxiation with mandarins or whatever they put in the gob. Stephen, what was his? Killed himself, choked himself to death. A bit like Michael Hutchins. It's all kicking off in France. I'm going to tell you a little secret about O2. You know, the company that supplies mobile phones and stuff. Yeah, going to tell you something about them. Safety alarm yesterday. Did it go off? No, I'd switched it off on my phone, but I just heard it. Cascading, a cacophony even of sound around me where people's phones were going off, and I was like, oh, you mugs. But we'll talk about that. The UK economy is crashing. Oh, we'll talk about that. Do you know that the NHS is forcing GPs into treating illegals? That's all I'm going to call them. Vladimir Putin, what a boy. I'm on his side. I'm going to tell you more later. And also Miliband and these heat pumps. Oh, my God. I mean, dear Lord, can't Starmer do anything about it? They're trying to get rid of him. The Labour shuffle over the weekend. We'll tell you why that happened as well. They needed to keep reform out of the newspapers. Oh, you're getting it now. Labour, the politics of envy. Told you. So, what we're going to talk about first. Shall we, we'll do the... Not that I'm trying to scare you, but it's the aliens. So, seemingly, the latest from 3i Atlas, that's what it's called, unless you want to call them little green men that are kind of standing on top of whatever it is. It's a bit like, when we go to a drive-in movie, if you've ever been to one of those, you can sit on top of the car and watch the film. And you've got, little green men standing on the top because somebody with the web or the big telescope the James, or whatever it is, they're tracking them, and seemingly they're standing on top of the, this whatever it is, and going, hello, we're coming. Now I'm just thinking, well, hang on a second, it's producing methane. So what produces methane? We should get Bill Gates and Bovere on the case, because if it's producing methane, then it's coming out of the back end of whatever it is, and just give it some Bovere. Nobody will eat it, obviously, and nobody will drink the milk either, if there's any milk, mind you. Just tug on that, and whatever comes out of that, drink, said the first person who milked a cow. I mean, can you imagine our ancestors going, right, I'm just going to give this, whatever comes out of this, I've got me mug, I'm just going to put it in, it tastes like milk. How do you know what milk tastes like? Because I know what other things taste like, and they don't taste like that. It tastes like milk. Let's call it milk. Milk. Right, okay. So just indulge me. When was the last time a comet produced methane? And this 3i Atlas, and I blame Des Ashton. He was the first one to mention it, and we were like, what the bloody hell's that? And Des was on it. like a car bonnet. But it's now producing its own light source. It's not exactly the sun, obviously. That big orange, before you ask, it's the big orange ball in the centre of our universe. And we kind of circle around it. Well, optical, but it's got its own light source. And it's producing the light from within. And I'm thinking, hang on a second, I know it's the aliens. So if it's the aliens, where's the bloke with the really weird hair? And are we going to have a full TV series about it? Because it's the aliens. And they're going to land, it's going to land, whatever it's going to land, it's going to come to Earth around about November this year, 2025. But it's 7 miles wide. Can you imagine? Right, get ready, get your seatbelts on. We're just going to park in New York. I don't hope it's America, because Americans, they will absolutely just brown trouser the job and run. They've done it before. Orson Welles, War of the Worlds. Oof. And that was on the radio. So one, it's producing methane. Two, it's producing its own light source and producing it from within, whatever it is. Whether it's a comet. Can't be a comet, because a comet doesn't produce methane. So do you think the little green men are standing on there going, oh, that curry last night, Jesus, is that what's speeding up our craft? Because we're just, and it's just making, because, you know, there's no resistance in space. In space, you could go for eternity on the top of that. So the thing is, though, it's speeding up and slowing down. So if it's speeding up, they're all standing there. Obviously, they don't want to do that. Produce the methane in the craft, because can you imagine? Oh, is that, whoa, who's that man? Oh, it's just me. It's just a little one. Little one? Oi, 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 oi. We haven't even got noses and we can smell it. So scientists believe that this comet has an exhaust. Now, the scientists need to put their names to whatever they're writing, because if they believe it's got an exhaust, how do they know? How do they know that it's got an exhaust? It's speeding up and slowing down. I've told you, no resistance in space. It's obviously all the methane. So that's 3i Atlas coming to Earth soon. I just think they're doing it to keep us crapping it. Well, don't put it anywhere near Joe Biden. Dear Lord, he'll pebble dash the White House. Because Joe Biden can do that. I can't wait. I mean, look, if it's, I've seen the TV series V. Looking forward to it. Can we get rid of all those pussies and cats and rats and mice and stuff? Oh, can you imagine? We're told that rats are living within a few feet of all of us. Well, if the aliens come down, then they can just get rid of the rats. That's fine. Then they can bugger off and blow methane for the rest of eternity. We'll get lots of that. Curried rat. I bet they love it. Let's talk about America. I mean, it is the maddest place in the world. Mad. Why is it mad? Well, I'm just going to give you, offer you something. There is an image that started to circulate online today that I believe has killed the Democratic Party. Over, done, finished. A bit similar to here. We will get to this point in this country because Labour's done. Look, don't take my word for it. Labour is finished. It's done. It's over. It's gone. They can foxtrot Oscar because left-wing politics? There shouldn't be any politics at all. It's just been created to give the illusion of you having a voice. Well, why can't we have just, the locals going, right, shall we sit down? Look, if you want to look at Japan and how the ninja would operate for the higher-ups, basically, they, I can't think of the word now, but the higher-ups, not Shotokan, oh, come on, Adrian. So they would say to the ninja, right, we need you to go and assassinate this man It's feudal Japan. It's in the mid-1800s, say, or 1700s or 1600s, because the ninja have been around as Yamabushi for over 1,000 years. And they would go, right, go and get them, and we need proof. So the ninja would go climbing, outside of castles and trees and being silent and shadow warriors. Shinobi, shadow warrior, Japanese. See, I'm multilingual, me. So they would, the ninja would go back and sit around with all the, hang on, somebody's bound to have told me what that was. Hang on. No, you haven't. You've left me flapping in the wind. Nick, the Fabians are getting their way. No, they've been exposed. But anyway, let me tell you the story. The shogunate, yes, of course. The ninja were covert agents, spies, not assassins. I think you find they were. Let's walk fit. Oh, right, okay. Hang on. Adrian is fouled tonight. Tell him to slow down. Fueled. Ah, I see you. Right, okay. And calm. So the shogunate would hire the ninja, and the ninja would go off and find somebody and then lop their head off, and then come back to the shogunate and go, right, there's his head there, right. And they would go round the circle and go, is that who we think it is? Yeah. Everybody, is that who we think it is? Yeah. Right, we've got him. He's assassinated. Done. There's your money. Off you go back to your family in the mountains. Les Griffiths, of course, YouTube is censoring. Dave Graham, Sunderland's new Kiel crossing bridge hopefully should be opening soon for good. Yeah, I'm going to go up and see that soon. So, as I was saying about America, they are beginning to understand that if they had a community, the community could be self-sufficient with a little help from the elites. But the elites just queer everything. The PDFs queer everything. Because it's the elites that keep you and I scratching around in the dirt. Obviously, I'm not speaking for you. I'm speaking more for me. So we can't become the elite because they keep us down. And there's a haunting new video that's come out today. And it's revealed the horrific, barbaric, and terrifying moment. A homeless ex-con allegedly fatally stabs a 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee. So worldwide, Ukrainian, mainly the women, left Ukraine for the safety of other countries. This country, GB, UK, however you want to describe it, and America. So this video's surfaced today. So, as I say, it was the Democrats that will be viewed as allowing all the illegals, I mean millions and millions and millions of them, into America. So this 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee was I think it was on a bus. And the video that I've seen, she's just on her phone, like, any amount of millions of 23-year-olds. And this guy just stabbed her. Sitting one seat behind her. She didn't even know. He just stabbed her. Now, the responsibility and the accountability of that in solace is down to Democratic Party and Democratic politicians who allowed them into their country. Now, we've had not similar, but I will just say to you, this country turned, and I'll give you one word as proof. Southport. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go anywhere near it. But we've had our moments in this country, and there will be others. And it will be the Labour Party. Tony Blair kicked it all off in 1997. And as I've said to you before, Tony Blair started it because Germany had a word with France and Blair in this country and saying, we're taking 100,000 illegals every year. You're only taking 23. We were taking between 23 and 25,000 a year. Imagine that. 23,000 illegals a year. And France were taking a little bit more, maybe in the 30,000s. And Germany said, you two are going to have to take your fair share. And that's why we find ourselves in this place today. But America is a little ahead of us. So even as Democrats surge in the streets of Washington, D.C., protesting the president's crackdown on crime. I mean, I'm not, well, I'm a bit thick at times. So who would demonstrate on the president and the administration that's cracking down on crime? Now, I know the barristers and the lawyers and the legal profession don't want anybody to crack down on crime. They want a moral vacuum. They know this. Their legal training from law school or whatever, however they get taught to be arseholes. So they can, technical term that we use in radio before you start. So crime just creates wealth, just for the barristers and the lawyers and the legal profession, nobody else. But we bear the brunt of it. So the Democrats think it's going to be really, really clever if we demonstrate on the streets of Washington, D.C., because the president's cracking down on crime. I mean, can you imagine how that looks? They allow all the illegals in, and then the president goes, no, lads, right, I'm in charge now. I've got 4 years. I'm going to sort this out. And the Democrats go, no, you can't do that. Oh, I think you'll find you can. So this video, it's freely available online if you want to seek it out and view it. It's, well, the video and this electrifying still picture, this image, have hit the internet today. The left, that'll be the Democrats in America, could not be caught further out on the wrong side of the issue. Absolutely the wrong side. Now, as I say to you, I've only got one word to say to you, Southport. You know everything to do with that. And that was almost a similar place, but we had a Labour government, the government of envy, and they cracked down in a big way on us and free speech and free protest and everything. They stopped us because they told us we were the right-wing thugs. So right now, the Democrats are trying to ignore it. Similarly, in the way that they pretended Hunter Biden's laptop didn't exist back in 2020. So they were successful enough that time to push their vote machine over the finish line in the Biden-Harris favor. But that won't happen this time. Politics is done in America. It'll only be 6 months or a year, and it'll be done in this country. I mean, even Nigel Farage this weekend was talking about 2027 for a snap election. The Labour Party are going to be eviscerated. But the Democrats are hoping that this will go away. Just watch the moral indignation, quite rightly in my view, in America. A 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee invited into America, and the Democrats and an illegal with 14 previous, I think, and a charge sheet as long as your arm or whatever the same equivalent in America is. So all I can say is watch America. It's done. It's like Gotham City now. And the Democrats, on behalf of... So the Fabian Society, as I was talking about earlier, the Fabian Society is what runs WEF. Can you see that correlation? And it's Europe-wide. So the Fabians are the equivalent, but there is another couple of organisations in the background that only the elite go into. Fabian's not elite. If they've got, I don't know what they're saying, between 6, 8, 10,000, nobody actually knows the correct number of Fabian Society members. They're not the elite. They're just wannabes. And Labour wannabes. New York will get worse now under their new mayor, says David Graham. Rusty's roaming. Oh, okay, you're all having a chat. All right, get it. Les Griffiths to Terry. They were DC bound and they were recent, but I know of the ones you refer to. American cities are going to be hit simultaneously by Marines and National Guards. Wow. Wow. Terry Wookfit says, Fabians are big enough to control WEF. They are steered by larger organisations, as are many other political organisations. Yeah, I get it. I get it. But it's what the Fabians believe in. And remember, UN Agenda 2030, the World Health Organization. They're all in bed with each other. And no, I won't say that. But I agree with Laird Wookfit. And it's only this last week or so that the Fabian Society has turned into almost a cause celeb. And I was telling you weeks ago about the Fabians because it's really easy to see. It'd be interesting to see what Jeremy Corbyn does with his new party, because I believe the Labour Party, the Workers' Party, is no more. It's the party of this Fabian elite. And that was Tony Blair. And Tony Blair is now on the board of the World Economic Forum. Oh, go figure. Charles Linton. Bow Street Magistrates. Go Google it. Charles Linton with a Y. Hang on, Tom Thumbelina says, did you lisp last night because you were so wired with anticipation of your Scoop interview? Was it stage fright? For crying out loud, you weren't interviewing the king. Tom Thumbelina. No, it wasn't. I don't know whether it was the sound. The sound is obviously different tonight. A lot of people were saying, sounds muffled, Adrian. What's going on? Don't know. I was just talking normally. But as I said earlier, I do believe that Janet, I didn't want anything to affect Janet's connectivity. So I thought about kind of having a restart so you could hear me. But look, you didn't watch the interview to listen to me. It was all about Janet. So you're picking nut shit out of sugar, saying that I had a bit of a lisp last night, when actually you should have been listening to what Janet was telling you, because there was gold there. Oh, interesting, Terry. Tom Thumbelina. Ever thought he wasn't lisping and it was just feedback from two live mics? I will hold my hands up and say, look, I took it on board, what everybody was saying. I have a couple of lapel mics. So I'm going to start using those to see, because I mean, I've been charging that all day. I don't know how long the kind of battery life I've got on it, but I have two, and connectivity into. Oh, blimey! Hang on a second. Just make sure I don't disappear into the ether. Oh, sorry, I'm trashing the joint. So I have lapel mics that I'm going to use, and we'll see how they go. So I listen. I do listen, not all the time. Should we talk about? Talker 69 says happened for part of the first interview too, Adrian. Interesting, Talker 69. I'll go and have a look at that. Was that with Philip Dehaney? I will go and have a look at that. The other thing with Philip, we did have a technical issue where I was actually hearing Philip like a second and a half or 2 seconds later, so there was a delay in what we were doing. Didn't know how that worked. But I think YouTube, to be fair to them, have created a much easier process of getting into the live, because now you can kind of go into an ante-room together. So you send the link to somebody, they join you, say it's 7:30 last night. So Janet was there, I was there, we were in like a little ante-room at the very beginning, and it gives you a button to say go live, rather than going live and then that person kind of stumbling in and it not being very professional. So right, okay. Fred Barker. Fred, welcome to the Body of the Cook. I enjoyed the live last night. Watched it twice. Brilliant, Fred. Bad Wolf Project. Dehaney has clipped the Percival video and stuck it on his channel. Okay. Dom Wigley. I can't see your comment, Dom, but Laird Wookfit saying, because those that want to rule us need us to be divided, we are then easier to conquer. Yeah, divide and rule. It's always divide and rule. Right, I want to talk about ginger nudges, because it's, I don't know why the mainstream media indulge this man, because he lives in America now. And we know that he's a blood royal. Questions over his father, but he's a blood royal. That's why Charles the Weak calls him dear boy, not son. So, bless his heart. Prince Harry is apparently so excited to hop on a plane back to the UK. Was it his or somebody else's? Clutching his metaphorical peace-offering olive branches like a kid who thinks a drawing can fix a divorce. According to his ever-loyal sources. Translation, his PR team frantically feeding Hello magazine copy. Copy's the kind of writing that you give to newspapers and magazines. So, yeah, Harry is in a really good headspace because nothing screams mental serenity like flying across the Atlantic just to beg for a meeting that no one asked for. So here's the setup. Harry has a 4-day UK visit lined up, supposedly to do good work with his patronage. Very noble, very serious, very much the sort of trip where you definitely don't need to leak to the press which exact windows you've cleared in your diary for a possible royal reconciliation. The man has basically written, Dear Dad, my calendar is open Wednesday between brunch and bong time. Let me know. Meanwhile, Charles the Weak is in Scotland. Hawkeye the New, trying to live out his Balmoral autumn aesthetic whilst dealing with cancer treatment. Prince William, well, he's booked solid with actual work, you know, charities, mental health hubs, and honouring his grandmother's memory. You know, adult responsibilities. So it's not exactly a great moment for Harry to play his usual game of, notice me, notice me, notice me, Daddy. And yet, Harry's people are out here telling us, if a meeting happens, and it's a mighty big if, Harry will make it work. I don't win shite, man. I mean, how magnanimous of the boy. Imagine freeing up your schedule for, checks notes, the King of Britain, the United Kingdom, this sceptred isle. Charles the Weak, he's the boss, he's the gaffer. I mean, I'm sure Charles is deeply touched that his son can squeeze him in between stage paparazzi shots and Netflix brainstorming sessions. This PR tour, because that's all it is in my view, is giving big pity party energy. We already know how the story goes. When Charles doesn't roll out the red carpet, Harry will do his usual routine of running to whichever media outlet still answers his calls. I tried so hard, but they were so mean to me. I'll cry, I'll cry, I'll cry. Probably whilst humming Linkin Park into his herbal cigarettes, sprinkled with lavender petals, of course. And don't forget, this is the same man who wrote a tell-all accusing his father of being, at best, cold, and at worst, complicit in plots against him. Infamy! Infamy! They've all bloody gutted infamy! In a more posh accent, of course. It's the same man who called the UK, United Kingdom, Great Britain, racist. They're all racist. And claimed visiting here gave him PTSD. Oh, we've got to worry for the boy. If coming here gives him PTSD, then he's going to have a breakdown. Yet now, he's so excited to come back. I mean, which is it, Harry? Are you the wounded soldier exiled from the kingdom, or the golden boy, golden bollocks, waiting to be welcomed back into the fold? Spoiler. Mate, you can't be both. And what makes this all the more comical is the desperation. I can smell it from here. And I'm hundreds of miles away from him. I mean, he's admitted to doing loads of gear. It's illegal in this country. It's not in California. So, I wonder if this desperation means that he's going to be leaking to the press. And I still can't work out why the bloody mainstream media, the daily tabloids, actually pander to this man. I wonder if we'll get a leak tomorrow. So tomorrow is Tuesday. They reckon it's going to happen on Wednesday. So is there going to be a leak to the press that he's open for a meeting? And is that the royal equivalent of tweeting your ex? I'll be at, if you're around, and I'm sure you are, I'll be around at Starbucks from 2 to 4 p.m. if anybody just happens to want to talk. It tells us one thing very clearly. Harry Mitt, your calls aren't going through, champ. If Charles the Weak, who happens to be king of all of this, all he surveys, wanted to see you, you wouldn't need to drop hints via Hello Magazine, would you? No. But of course, when the inevitable snub comes, Harry will spin it. He'll talk about forgiveness, about how he's moved on, about how it's all water under the bridge. Meanwhile, the rest of us, of course, will just roll our eyes into the back of our heads. Because the only thing flowing here is his endless supply of leaks and self-pity. Here's the kicker. Nobody in the UK cares. Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. The British public isn't exactly lining the streets waving banners saying, "Welcome back, Harold. Welcome back." I mean, we've got bigger things to worry about, for goodness sake. More than a man who spent years trashing us in interviews, podcasts, memoirs, only to suddenly rediscover his love for home soil whenever Netflix needs content. So yes, Ginger Nadgers is so excited. Excited to be ignored, perchance? Excited to pretend, I tried. Excited to light the match for the next PR firestorm when the meeting never happens? Meanwhile, William will keep working. Charles the Weak will keep healing. And Harry will keep humming Linkin Park whilst rolling his lavender-scented joints. Welcome back, Harold. Just waiting for the computer. Thank you very much. Have you seen? We'll get into. We'll get into little class, as they say down south. Have you seen the new Banksy artwork? If you were lucky, he's created. I think he's calling it. I'm just about to sneeze. Excuse me. Thank you. I know you said bless you. So Banksy's new artwork has appeared today. It's appeared at the Royal Courts in London, and I think it's called Two-Tier. It's a two-tier justice piece. But the state, the state, they've just covered it up. So now they've got cops there, because obviously the courts are still working. They've got cops there, and they've got sheets of metal, for want of a better term or word, covering it all up. So just remember this. Your government loves you. Go back to sleep. They'll wake you up when they need you to pay taxes. The state is deciding what you will see, speak, or hear. Banksy, artwork, class, everybody loves it. And now the state has decided whether you can see it, speak about it, or hear anybody talking about it. Or any information or art the state deems harmful. It's beyond 1984. And 1984 looks like a parody compared to this. But if the state deems it harmful, to whom? Are they worried that somebody's going to try and carve the concrete out and then flog it for a couple of mil? So I doubt whether you'll actually see the new Banksy artwork, because the state is not very happy with him or her, whomever Banksy is. Of course I know who Banksy is. It's at the Royal Courts. So who averted their gaze? Because there's CCTV cameras all over that road. All over. So how did he manage to get there painted, disappear, and nobody saw who it was. The state knew. The state always knows. But go back to sleep. Your government loves you. They've decided you can't see it. They're acting in your best interest. How do we end shite? Shall we talk about these? Oh, hang on a second. What's? Oh, right. Oh, that was a bit weird. Shall we talk about? Shall we laugh at the Labour Party? Because I'm going to say this first. Have you noticed how they managed the media all weekend? So what you got was Ginger Growler and Rachel Reeves and Keir Starmer look like Keir Starmer normally looks like a woodwork puppet. You'll notice how you got all of that, and the mainstream media did not do much coverage, I say that relatively, with the Labour coverage of Ginger Growler. And blimey, she stood down right on the first day of the Farage Reform Conference. I laughed until my incontinence pants burst because I knew what they were going to do. I've already told you, for 3 years I've been telling you, Friday is the day they bury bad news. And they do it on a weekly basis. Because by the time you find, well, Growler, are you talking about it today? No, today's Monday. By the time they bury it on a Friday afternoon, they release bad news, they bury it on a Friday afternoon, and it's gone by Monday morning because everybody's had a weekend and, well, they've just forgotten all about it. That's how it works. That's how PR works. PR is not just keep getting stuff into the mainstream media, it's also keeping stuff out of the mainstream media. And now they kept, to a greater extent, Farage and the Reform Conference over the weekend. I mean, even one of the MPs came out singing, bless her. Cats and dogs around my place. I had it on the telly. We're like, holy Jesus, Adrian, what's that, man? Bloody hell, switch it off. It's doing me ears in. So I would say this as a definitive. Labour, this Labour government, have been corrupted by power. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I'll say to you this again. You can. It's red or blue. A bit like America. You've only got red or blue. No independents in them. Well, there are independents in America, but they never get elected. So they can't do anything. In this country, exactly the same. I mean, can you remember the Monster Raving Loony Party? It was just for comedy, for shits and giggles. It was just comedy. The Tories, the Blues, they're the party of sleaze. They're the shaggers, the Tories, for want of a better term. They're the shaggers. And Labour, they won't pay 40 grand worth of taxes. Is she going to pay that? What should have happened on Friday, she should have come out, mea culpa, all right, contrition, ring me hands, I'll pay the 40 grand. She hasn't got the 40 grand. So they're offering her 17 grand severance pay for what? If she's been, and I think she has been, an MP for longer than 2 terms of Parliament, whatever height she achieves within her ministerial portfolio, that is her pension for the rest of her life. So Labour, it's all about the moolah, the Reddies, the Benjamins, the Greenbacks. The Tories, it's all about shagging rent boys. I mean, right, I'm going to ask you a question. 1 for yes, 2 for no. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Can Farage and or Reform do any worse than this corrupt government and the shower of shite that is the Tories? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Can Reform, thereby Farage, do any worse than the current political scenario? 1 for yes, 2 for no. I saw that headline a little earlier. They've possibly inflated her flat in Brighton or Hove by 25%, or no, it couldn't be 25%. She bought it for 800. I think it's on the market for 850. So it's going to be a smaller. And Andy Thomas, Garen Davis, Ian McGee, Linda Lewis, Alan, Catwoman Jones, all saying no, as in they can't do any worse than the idiots running the country at the minute. Albert Metcalf, just the same shite. Farage won't be blackmailed by the World Economic Forum, says Mad Matt UK. Neither will Trump. So the Fabians and the World Economic Forum are going to be tap dancing furiously in the background to try and make their agenda work. I see you. And Angelic Inspirations are saying one, yes. All right, I get to tell you off in a second. Because I know that we, myself included, cynical old tart, nobody wins with politics. Nobody. If you think the politicians don't win, we're the ones that are just bent over and shafted by any government that gets in. So I kind of get what people are saying. Yes, they can. And yes, they will. Watch the NHS. It's done. It's finished. It's over. But I predicted 3 years ago that the NHS was done and all you would get would be free treatment at the point of need at A&E. The rest of it, you're going to have insurance. It's coming because when Farage gets in, so does Trump. And Trump's always wanted a piece of the NHS cash. Alan says, I'll take Farage decades. It'll take Farage decades to undo all the damage over the last 20 years. Alan, there is something called the Seville, as in the place in Spain, the Seville construct or the Seville agreement. But basically, that is in European law, and Starmer has signed that agreement, possibly with Lamy when he was Foreign Secretary, which means that you can't undo the laws that have been implemented by this Labour government. So we'll get to, say, 27 or 29, we'll have a general election, and it will be reform, because the country is so massively pissed off with politics in this country that it will end up with a reform government. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not saying it's a good thing, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it will be. Politics will move to the right in this country because people are pissed off and have had enough. But they can't undo everything that Starmer is putting into international law and or international treaties that we've agreed with other countries, namely the bloody Europe. Les Griffiths, pay their taxes, fight their wars, obey their diktats, be good little serfs. I think I know a lot of people for likes and clicks and stuff on YouTube, because that's how they make their money. Some of them, they want that, and they say to you, "Oh, it's going to kick off. Oh, it's going to kick off." I hope it doesn't. We don't need to do that, because all they will do is they will put the army on the streets and they'll make us pay for it. Regret actually standing up to the elite, the parasitical classes, as I've been calling them for 3 years. So I can understand completely this country is on a knife edge, but it was on a knife edge around Southport, and it didn't happen that we had demonstrations on the streets. Oh, come on. What, you think those right-wing thugs were from the locals? Mate, you need more Battenberg. Had an idea. Paint potholes white and a red cross. Roads will be fixed in a day. It's a good idea, Nicholas. It's already been done. I'm not quite sure whether they're going to put the tarmac on top of the cross of St. George, because it's not. I don't understand this. If you go to any European country, they've all got their nation's flags or their area's flags proudly displayed on government buildings and lots of different areas. You come here, you're bloody racist. Yeah, across the St. George, you're bloody racist. Well, we were told we were right-wing thugs at one point because of Southport. Yeah, so they brought in draconian measures to deal with the right-wing thugs. We know now that what Starmer's up to, we've seen what he's doing with some of the European leaders. We know. I wouldn't trust that man as far as I could spit him. Bad Wolf Project says, read the NHS. The average wait time here in France for a new hip is 6 weeks. In the UK, 18 months. That's because, in my view, the NHS, it's a business now. And the people in the NHS, as in the doctors and consultants and all those that make money from it, they'll do the NHS work and they'll do the private work. They'll make a shit ton of money from the private work, but now they just, we'll get round to it. We'll get round to it in the NHS. It doesn't pay as much as the private work, and that's why they want you to have insurance, because then they'll just knock it out of the park. The NHS is not fit for purpose currently the way it is. I would like to think that, it was the Labour Party itself that implemented the NHS for the people of this country. But now, and I'll get to this. I wanted to talk about Miliband, but there's word coming out today that GP surgeries have to put 1 in 5 appointments aside for the illegals. They're being told by the NHS, NHS England, you, the GP surgery, have to put 20%, 1 in 5 appointments aside for the illegals. And if you don't, we'll withdraw funding from you. So the GP surgery is between a rock and a hard place. NHS England, thereby the government, the Labour government, are telling the GP surgery you have to have 1 in 5 appointments for the illegals. However you want to describe them. People from abroad that have come to this country illegally. Economic migrants if you want. Illegals if you want. Any way you want to describe them. The government, via NHS England, is telling the doctor's surgery, do as you're told, otherwise we'll withdraw some of your funding. Cheeky. Really cheeky. What a doctor's surgery is meant to do. They'll have their funding pulled by NHS England, by the government, while they spunk it on Ukraine. £3 billion a year for the next 100 years. Nice money laundering if you can get it. Did you know that Starmer tried to strip Miliband of net zero over the weekend? Saying, it's holding back growth. Sorry, I'm just going to answer this. From Lionel Layton. Can't laws be repealed? Not because the international treaties of the Seville Commitment, I think it was, it can't be changed. They can't repeal any laws that have been put in place by the Labour government. Any government following this Labour government. They can't, because they've signed an international treaties. I mean, we can turn around to the Spanish and the Germans and the French and go, here, you can have away and shite, mate, because we've had little contretemps. See what I did there? French, contretemps. We've had contretemps with you before, and we'll do it again. So, you're in Europe. Aye, here. Foxtrot Oscar, we're coming in and we'll do you again. And the Spanish, fucking hell, remember the Spanish Armada? No. We could tell them, you can have away and shite. International laws, what does that mean then? Well, you've signed this treaty, so you've got to do as you're told. Come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. Spanish will back down straight away. The Italians, bloody hell, they've got heels on the front of their shoes. Their tanks in the Second World War had 4 gears. 1 forward, 3 reverse. They're never going to amount to much. The Germans, they won't start that again. They'll get beat again. I mean, their economy, remember, back in the 30s, the economy was tanking. It didn't during World War II, though. Mind you, Hitler got a shit ton of gold out when he went to South America, didn't he? Oh, really? The Russians had a way, man. Hitler had 2 daughters, died in 1966. Must have been the World Cup that pushed them over the edge. And the French. So we can say to the Europeans, Lionel Layton, we can say to them, oi, 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 you lot, how do we end shite? No. So could Farage. I mean, can you imagine? Ian McGee, how strange. Savile was protected and laws now under another Savile. How ironic. Terry Wookford, even laws that have been ratified through Parliament can be replaced or replaced. Savile doesn't override UK law. Seville, sorry. The emphasis on the wrong syllable. I agree completely. let me tell you about Miliband, because over the weekend, two-tier, free gear, queer as folk Starmer, the one that signed the Seville commitment, he tried to get rid of Miliband and net zero. They're saying, oh, well, it's holding back growth. How do we in shite? It's PR spin, man. So you know, the bloke that's playing his ukulele, winding us all up, talking about, well, I'm flying on somebody else's private jet and I'm flying on another private jet. Well, the taxpayers can pay for all this. He's worth 12.7 million quid. Just explain to me, because I'm as thick as pig shit, how does a politician on not much, when he was leader of the Labour Party, he was on maybe 150, 160 G's a year, how does he amass a 12.7 million personal net worth? It's like the bloody Americans. Nancy Pelosi. How does that work then? Ooh, can't see it here. According to the community notes on X, he's worth 12.7 million quid. And he's telling us what to do. France only have a small army. I'd heard that, but it was obviously cold at the time. They have to toss a coin to see who gets the rifle. Brilliant, Neil. He's using RAF Air to get around to all these little conferences and visits. Oh, very nice. Very nice. That's what I'm saying. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts, absolutely. And the Tories are the shaggers. The Labour Party are the ones that want their little grubby fingers in the pot. They want to make their money. The grubby little mitts. Crime and politics news. They sold them all, never used, dropped once. So can I just... have you been watching Putin sucking up to, unfortunate term of phrase, but sucking up to Xi Jinping, President of China? He's some boy, President Xi. So can I tell you that there's been a war fought over the last few weeks that you didn't even realise? Well, they didn't use bullets and bombs. China... How could China have taken control of Taiwan without a shot being fired? Well, seemingly, President Xi's military parade last week was designed to intimidate the island and not to reinforce the US view that it is not worth going to war in its defence. I mean, every time I see a military parade, I think of Billy Connolly and the sketch that he did. You know, he said, oh, we should change our national anthem from... why can't we have... We are the Gerovians and we don't give a shit. So China and the show of strength, and Russia and their show of strength, and then Trump's going, all right, lads, knock it on the head. Xi Jinping, you want Taiwan? Oh, all right, then, you can have it. I don't give a flying. Rusty's roamings. Des Ashton, yeah, China and India. India's not very happy with Trump at the minute. Well, Indian politics. What, you call that clean? And you call that above board and legal? It's as corrupt as anywhere else. Rusty's roaming says, even Putin has said that Lammy is an idiot. Fat Lammy's gastric band. I mean, he's half the man that I saw a year ago. Have you seen him lately? He's not done that jogging, that's for bloody sure. Hang on, what's Phil Levan said? I've missed that. Lammy is a joke. Yeah, not a very funny one though, Stephen. He's not very funny at all. I mean, can you imagine what him and Ginger Growler said about Trump? And then Trump gets in as president. It's like, oh, maybe I should lick Trump's arse. Stop calling Lammy an idiot. We real idiots resent that. Brilliant. Thank you, Ned Wookfit. Have you seen a clip of Lammy on Mastermind? Oh, it's brilliant, Adam. It's brilliant. I mean, well, what can I say? David Graham says, that was at the end of an audience with Billy Connolly. He said to change the national anthem to the theme tune of the Archers. Oh, yes, of course, David. Thank you very much for that. Why don't we? It's got a little bit more swing to it. Beata, you need an anthem like The Land of My Fathers and sung like the Welsh sing. Oh, we've got much mightier, mighty songs. I mean, I don't decry the Welsh singing it, but look up I Vow to thee, my country, or Jerusalem, or the Archers. I mean, the Archers is kind of multi-dimensional in this country, in GB. Ginger Growler is a millionaire, says Stephen Hall. Oh, I'm sure she is. I'm sure she is. Because they don't like us. They don't like it up them, Captain Mannering. Can I ask you a real honest question? Why do we keep electing the lowest of the low? Let me explain. The question is, why are the worst of us attracted into politics? Is it the rent boys? Is it the money and the flats in Hove? Why are the worst of us attracted into politics? Is it because they're all psychopaths? Why do we end up governed not by the brightest, the most courageous, the most dedicated, but by the slippery opportunists, the morally bankrupt, the self-serving and corrupt? Maybe they buy their way in. Just to give you a little data, it certainly isn't to protect a good society, that money. Of course I see you. Alan says it's nearly always voting for the lesser of two evils. We don't really elect them. Local parties decide who to send as potential candidates. National party executives decides who's to put before the people to be elected. So there's a whole process. Of course I know this. There's a whole process before you get to, who am I going to put my cross against? I've said for a long time now, we need to get away and do away with the political parties. The parasitical classes have got a stranglehold on power in this country, and we shouldn't allow that. We should make everybody an independent, because then we can go to our local representative. Like digital ID. Oh, wait till that comes. They're now trying to say, oh, it's a brilliant thing. Honestly, it's a brilliant thing. It'll stop all the illegals coming in. No, it won't. It'll just make sure we're paying our taxes so that they can pay for more illegals coming in. And you know that Farage is going to play by the Trump playbook, and he is going to get rid of the illegals. One of the first things he's going to do when he gets into power. Because Labour's not going to get into power. Tories are done. Oh, and Nadine Dorries, can I tell you, Trojan horse. Tory Trojan horse. What was the first thing that Nadine Dorries did over the weekend? Oh, I think we should have a coalition government with Boris and Nigel. Oh, Nadine, you've got that little sparkle in your eye for young Boris, haven't you? Always have done. Looking up to him. Oh, Boris, are your collars and cuffs the same colour as your hair? Whoa, Nadine, stop that, man. Clown world. Clowning Street, enough. Give Farage a go, because all the other ne'er-do-wells are screwing things up. Nicholas says 1,000 came in on Saturday. Hear that? 1,000, one day. By the time we get to the end of the year, there'll be hundreds of thousands in this country have come in under Labour. Men of Harlech, stop your dreaming. Can't you see their spear points gleaming? See their warrior pennants streaming to the battlefield. Yeah, I'm all for that English bottle cap. So I just want to give you some information that you absolutely categorically will not get anywhere else. There's a little report flittering around saying that Russian GPS jamming disrupted 123,000 flights over Baltic airspace. Can you remember where some of the airlines were saying we can't fly over the Baltic? Now you know why. Mind you, you'd be lucky if you had a pilot at the front of the plane. In April alone, that's 2025, an average of 27.4% of flights in the region experienced interference. Swedish authorities have announced. Investigators traced the source of the jamming to Russia. Well, they would do, because they still want Putin to be the bad man, the bogeyman. They want Putin to be the focus of everyone's ire. I-R-E, before you ask me for the spelling. Ooh, David Graham's made a really good point. Big Tommy Robinson gathering in London this Saturday. Will Lucy Connolly speak there on Saturday? If she's on license, she can't. And she's being let out early, hasn't she? So the Russians, they're still trying to paint them as the bad men when actually China is running the world now until Trump gets his claws into Xi Jinping. And let me tell you something. We absolutely, categorically, are not being told the truth about Ukraine. Oh, Adrian, how can you say that? Obviously, everything's above board and legal in Ukraine. How many billions has bloody Sniffy legged it with? Stuffed his bloody trousers with, well, obviously readies, well, mainly pounds, because you get more dollars to the pound. So he probably wanted paying in pounds 3 billion. How many dollars is that? 4? So we're not being told the truth about Ukraine. And I believe this was the moment that the mask slipped. And I saw why the elites, and I'll say this now, and you can talk to me in 6 months or a year or 18 months or 2 years, because Sniffy doesn't want the war to end. The war ends. There are people in Ukraine, his own people, because of what he's done to the Ukrainian nationals, the young men. They've killed over 500,000 young men in Ukraine. The Ukrainian women are never going to get married. They're never going to have kids. It's just going to implode Ukraine unless they boat all of these illegals in. Can you imagine the Ukrainian women? Hang on, our men are really good looking. What's going on with this? I'm going to make this statement now. The elites, however you want to term them, they want to wage this hideous war forever because it's making them wealthy. It's making them horrendously rich because Ukraine is not about the war. It's about laundering money. It's one of the most corrupt countries on planet Earth. So it looks as if the war in Ukraine is going to go on for many, many, many years to come. Even though Putin says I want peace, even though Sniffy says I want peace, even though Trump says you're going to have bloody peace whether you like it or not, all of Europe's like, no, just ignore them. Just ignore them. They're arseholes. Just ignore them. Foxtrot Oscar, we're having war in Europe and we're just going to flood Ukraine with all the money so it ends up in our trouser pockets. And this is not going to be by accident, by the way. It may even be what the West secretly wants. So we know this from a very interesting remark on Friday, just gone, by a guy called Tony Radakin. He's a lawyer who's just stepped down as the head of Britain's armed forces. Interesting. Now, Trump is saying that he's ready to move to stage 2, DEFCON 2. He wants to move to stage 2 of the Russian sanctions after Moscow launched a large aerial attack. It's all theatre, darling. It's all theatre. Hello, Vladimir. How are you, big lad? Yeah, very good. It's just a Donald. I'm having another coat of varnish today, so it'll be fine. I just wanted to catch up on them. Are you going to bomb Ukraine? So US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said additional economic pressures by the United States and Europe could prompt Putin to enter peace talks with Ukraine. I mean, do these people not watch the telly? Do they not read the newspapers? Vladimir Putin, for the last 18 months, has been screaming out for peace. You don't have to use economic pressure to bring Russia to the table. The Donald's just got to go, Vladimir, mate, what the hell you doing? I'm president, man. I'll come and see you in Moscow, but what are you doing? How much money are you getting out of? Is Sniffy just bunged you a couple of billion? Because remember, off the top of my head, and I'm not going to remember the name of the organisation, the organisation with Putin's chef, and seemingly they had a chance to chase Putin up to St. Petersburg. Can't remember the name of the organisation. Jesus, Adrian, old age. But they were given $6 billion by the CIA. Wagner, thank you. Laird Wookfit. So Wagner, not the bloke from Britain's Got Talent, Wagner Group, and the Yeah, Stephen Hall, Sniffy, the money laundering man. So the Wagner Group were given $6 billion by the CIA to chase Putin up to St. Petersburg and kill him. And the Wagner Group, led by Putin's chef, just left. And seemingly, according to the Russians, he died in a plane crash. I bet the CIA are apoplectic with rage. 6 billion G's spunk to the Wagner Group. I'll bet you they've divvied it up. Half for Putin, half for them. I'm off to South America, mate. If Hitler can live there and have 2 daughters and die in 66, I'm off there to get a bit of plastic surgery. You won't recognise me in a couple of weeks. 3 billion in your trouser pocket. So they're talking about, well, Trump and his economic pressures. Harder we and shite, man. I mean, Medvedev stated about the threat of attack on Russia. He's come out and gone, well, we could be attacked from Finland, Norway, Poland, and the Baltic countries. Because the Baltic is where the bloody money is. The gas and the oil. So, during his speech, Medvedev noted that, or said, Moscow cannot ignore Finland's membership of NATO. Sorry, I'm trying to kill a fly while I talk to you. Medvedev said that this will affect Russia's military plan along the common border. He also ordered the need for changes in Russia's defense strategy due to the situation in the region. Now, seemingly, Russia has launched the largest aerial attack on Ukraine's capital. Is that Kyiv or Kiev? In my house, it's Kiev. Always have been. I love chicken Kiev. Comes from Kiev, not Kyiv. So missiles along with over 800 drones and decoys were launched overnight, illustrating, seemingly, that might rather than negotiation is still the main thrust of Vladimir Putin's approach. These people are talking out of their derrieres, man. We've got aliens landing in November, 3i, and what they're going to do? Send drones to meet them. Yevgeny Prigozhin, thank you for that. Thank you. So it's all... And you know that Germany have now come out, and said, prepare for war, in obviously a faux Austrian accent. They're calling it a national ravioli reserve. This is the Germans. Seemingly, some German official has said to the German citizens, because they haven't got royalty, they're over here running this place, Battenbergs. And I'm quoting this official. Build up enough supplies to last you for 10 days if possible. Now, we had Sweden doing that. We've kind of had it a little bit in this country. But the bloody Germans, they think they're going to go to war. Now, this official told some of the mainstream press in Germany, even a supply for at least 72 hours is very helpful. So why aren't they telling the Germans exactly what's going on? The Germans are going to war again and the rest of Europe's going, oh, right. Well, Germany's economy is tanking. So what do we need to do? We need to send Germany to war. Who are they going to fight? Yeah, the bloody Russians. Send them first. Were you aware that you'll notice how Baltic, Black, Caspian, Red Sea have all got huge deposits underneath them? Now, I know that some people will call it fossil fuels, but how do you know that they're finite? How would you feel if I said to you that these can be replenished by Mother Gaia, by Mother Earth? But are you aware? So there's all this gas and oil everywhere, even in the East Mediterranean Sea, under the Gaza Strip, which is why Israel is doing what Israel is doing. They want the greater Israel so they can protect all the oil and gas under the ground and in the East Mediterranean. Ben Gurion Canal, don't forget that. But you've also got the Russians in Crimea who want all the gas and oil out of, they're getting the gas and oil out of the Caspian, out of the Black Sea, out of the Baltics. All of these places have huge deposits of oil and gas. It's about energy independence, and we've got two-tier free gear queer as folk starmer sitting on a train with a couple of, well, all I can say is a couple of dodge-looking blokes that lead some countries in Europe, seemingly, and a bag of Charlie. That's Coca-Cola to me and you. But in the Red Sea, there's a cable that's been cut again to disrupt internet access in Asia and the Middle East. Did you see how I've just told you about Israel, Middle East, internet access? Oh, you can't find out what's going on. Well, I'll just have a look at me. Oh, wow, man. The internet's down. What am I going to do? Read books. What am I going to do, man? I won't be able to find out what Israel's up to and all these other people in the Red Sea, like the Houthis. So there's a cable being cut in the Red Sea. You know where that is? It's heading up to, from the Indian Ocean, it heads up to Egypt and Israel, and they cut a cable for internet access across Asia and the Middle East. So the Iranians can't find out what's going on. So I will tell you, the internet connectivity in multiple countries included India and Pakistan. Well, can you imagine them kicking off again? That they've been affected due to subsea cable outages in the Red Sea. This has come from the internet monitoring group NetBlocks. But it doesn't reach the mainstream media because it'll end up with you putting the jigsaw pieces together and you think, holy shit, what they've been up to now? Cutting off the internet to India and Pakistan. They've got nuclear warheads. Oh, my lord, shall we play a game? Not that I'm suggesting that will happen. But imagine cutting the internet off here. Phil the Van, what's that dot on Adrian's head? Is he a Hindu now? No, I'm turning it to Zaphod Beeblebrox. If you know Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Zaphod Beeblebrox had two heads. That's all I'm saying. When I was in West Africa, the locals used to steal oil from pipes on land. Always blew themselves up smoking weed while they were doing it. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's funny as. Can I just... again, this is going to be spun. Let me just check out what's going on. Right, okay. Are you aware that this sceptred isle, Blighty, is going to face a jobs crunch as the number of job seekers, and you know what I'm saying here, the number of job seekers rises at the fastest rate in 5 years under Rachel Reeves. So there's going to be more jobs, seemingly. Job seekers rising, the number of job seekers is rising at the fastest rate in 5 years under Rachel in her big black hole. Our labour market has experienced its sharpest increase in job seekers for 5 years. Oh, I wonder why. Companies are slashing recruitment and shedding staff as they seemingly anticipate further tax increases from Rachel from accounts and a big black hole. That's in November's budget, just in time for the aliens. Can you imagine? Oh, we can't have the budget today, ladies and gentlemen. Aliens have landed in America. Japan's Prime Minister's resigned. Oh, what's he been up to? Has he been... Whoa, no. I better not say that. So seemingly, China has been buying a shit ton of gold as central banks seek US dollar alternatives. You know what's coming, don't you? It's not going to be a recession. They're going to have to reset the whole fiat currency system. The whole system. So China, in their infinite wisdom, is buying a shit ton of physical gold. We can't buy it because remember that idiot Gordon Brown when he was Prime Minister, Chancellor, and he sold off some of our gold reserves at the bottom of the market. What a clown. So China, they're buying Gold, proper gold. So it's a 10th consecutive monthly increase for Beijing's gold holdings has arrived as global institutions turn to ultimate currency for safe haven. They know what's coming. They're a bit unsure about Bitcoin, but they have to reset the whole fiat currency system, the paper money system, your 5s, your 10s, your 20s, your 50s. They need to reset that. And what have we got? These muppets who wouldn't know how to rub two 50p's together. It is coming, but it will come before Trump ends this term. He has said he's going to make America the cryptocurrency capital of the world. China don't give a flying. They're buying all of the physical gold. 10th consecutive monthly increase for Beijing's gold holdings. The Chinese are not stupid. They own a shit ton of American debt. Can you imagine if the whole system crashes and America's got to pay its debt back to China? China's going to be sitting there. They'll get a large one on going, you know, those Americans not very bright, are they? I think we'll leave some of this for tomorrow night. Oh, no. Before I go, in 10 minutes or so, can I ask you about the emergency alarm? According to 2-tier free gear, Queer as Folk Starmer, and I'm quoting him directly, it is important in keeping people safe during national emergencies. We haven't had a bloody national emergency since the Second World War. Not even the Falklands. Not even, well, the 60s was a bit lively, but national emergencies. What are they setting up? It'll be the aliens. It's the little green men with no noses who can smell their own farts out the back of their comet. Oh, it's the methane. So according to 2T IKEA, that alarm went off, and do you know that for the last 3 years, it has cost me and you, not them, they're spending our money, our taxes. We go out, knock our pipe out, and they go, oh, right, give us your national insurance and your taxes. And if you don't, and also, don't forget, we're going to tax the money that's already been taxed again when you buy stuff. Because we just want to ride about in. Thank you, Stuart. Great live, and congrats again on 10k subs. Brilliant, Stuart. Thank you for your kindness. So they're taking the mickey out of us. Bunch of bastards. And I'll give you that quote again. It's important in keeping people safe during national emergencies for £25.3 million. That's how much it's cost us in the last 3 years to have an emergency alarm. As I said earlier, I laughed. I heard everybody's phones or whatever going off. Kind of a cacophony of sound, and I'm sitting there going, my bloody phone don't work. Oh yes, I turned that off. Didn't even vibrate. Mind you, I could have always sat on the spin wash. But I don't know what these national emergencies look like. They do, because I feel there's one coming, so to speak. Not even Southport was a national emergency. No. And they're going to scare you by your phone going off. And then I'll guarantee you they'll go, sorry. We pressed the wrong button. Everybody's backside will fall out. An emergency alarm. And we've no knowledge of anything. Oh my God, it's the bloody aliens. And I just want, for your reference, to tell you this. The great British economy, the UK economy, over the last 4 years. Are you ready? Gas, up 94%. Electric, up 78%. Fuel, up 49%. Rent, up 25% on average. Food, up 25%. And the average earnings, down by 2.8%. I kid you not. We are being shafted left, right and centre. So the national emergency might be when we get a bit brassed off with these corrupt politicians calling themselves the Labour Party actually not giving a flying about anybody else that they're supposed to represent. I've heard a rumour that Vladimir Putin, what a boy. I mean, he's gone right up in my estimation. He is demanding Fauci be extradited for crimes against humanity as part of the Ukraine peace deal. I mean, can you imagine? Hello, Vladimir, it's Donald, man. What you doing? I've just had another varnish. What you doing, man? Yes. Hello, Donald. Why can't you give us Anthony Fauci, because obviously we need to hang him from the nearest lamppost, for crimes against humanity? That's what we do in Russia. That's what we did in Italy. Send him to us. Otherwise, you don't have a peace deal. So I don't know whether that's true or whether it's just one of those scurrilous rumours, but seemingly Vladimir Putin's had a word and he's demanding Anthony Fauci be extradited to Russia for crimes against humanity as part of the Ukraine peace deal. What a boy, that Vladimir Putin. He's gone right up. Oh, can I tell you about Miliband before I go? Exactly that. Net zero population. You know, you must be reading my mind. Exactly that. Ed Miliband on his Eid. Do you know these heat pumps? So just remember that this government, of whatever hue, they are shafting you royally. They're taking all your taxes and spunking it left, right and centre. Whether it's $5,000 on a takeaway, whether it's ginger growler and private jets or Fat Lammy's gastric band. Nicholas says the poll tax riots will look like a playground spat to what's coming if they don't sort the mess out. They're not going to. They don't care. Hang on a second. Alan, heat pumps, a total con. Obviously, we're psychically connected tonight. So Ed Miliband, do you know he has spunked, technical term, £700 million of taxes on this heat pump rollout. You are aware of that, aren't you? And it's only been 1 year. No, the bloody wonder he's worth £12.7 million from an MP salary. He's never worked a bloody day in his life, that man. But I'll ask you a question. Who's going to control the heat pumps? It's a bit like electric cars. Who's going to control the heat pumps? It won't be me and you. You haven't paid your bill. Well, I know. You charged me 3 times what I used last month. Let me give you an example. Most of the regulars to this channel will know that I had a bit of a spat with EE. They charged us, I kid you not, £1,000 to get out of the contract. And we said, we're staying within the same company. We're going across to BT. So we shouldn't have to pay you that £1,000. So they took the £1,000. We had it in writing that they would refund the £1,000. And they haven't. So EE, not only are they evil, they're thieving bastards and corrupt. They took £1,000 of ours and they've not refunded it. And we're now months and months and months down the line, even though we had reassurances from EE that it would be done very quickly. They haven't given us the grand back. Now, we're going to contact them and get in touch with them and have a little conversation with them. Because unless they give us that money, I'm going to have the chief executive of EE arrested for theft. Because if you permanently deprive someone of money and or goods, it is theft. Straight up theft. And I will lodge it with the police to get that fecker arrested. Have you asked for a refund? Oh, yes. And we've had it in writing that they're going to refund us. And 3 months later, they still haven't. Oh, it's the same as, the checks in the post and I won't come in your mouth. Yeah, we're going to let work for it. We are. And we're going to deal with it. I will keep you updated. Thieving bastards. So let's talk about these heat pumps. The reason why I was mentioning all of that is because the person who controls the heat pumps controls your money. It's a bit like the electronic gas meter, electric meter, they can just access it and go, oh, you owe us all this money. No, I don't. I've been on holiday for 3 weeks. I've not used any. Well, our meters tell us that you've overused. And all we're doing is, can you remember when you used to get your bill quarterly and then just pay it 20 quid, pay it? Now, you've got to pay hundreds of pounds per month to, as I say, what did I say? The gas is up 94%. That's because the bloody Russians own it. Electric up 78%. Never comes down. Always comes out of your pocket. Somebody's making money. Don't talk to me about the bloody water companies either. So these heat pumps are going to be controlled by other people. 700 million pounds. This moron has spunked on heat pumps. That's more than Labour saved by cutting the winter fuel payments to the pensioners. It's more than Rachel Reeves' new farm tax will raise. And the pumps, the heat pumps, cost £13,000 against £3,000 for a boiler, top of the range boiler. No wonder he's worth £12.7 million. That it's a question that simply trips off the tongue. How much money are you being paid to do this? That's all I'm going to say. I didn't want to particularly end on we were going to talk about music. I think we might do that tomorrow night. But thank you to everyone in the comments. Smart electric meters, according to the U-Bovril, can also communicate with your smart appliances and control them. Jesus, I've seen Wall-E, the film. We all just stay on our computers, lose the use of our spines because we're always sitting in chairs, and we will evolve into spineless creatures whilst Wall-E and the clever little appliances talk to each other. AI, anyone? So thank you to everyone, that's been in the body of the Kirk this evening. I do appreciate it. Thank you to everyone for your support. Thank you for just being there when we rolled past 10,000 subs. It was a mighty achievement, and I'm very, very happy with that. Thank you. And again, we will have another live tomorrow, Tuesday, 7:30. My name's Adrian Allen. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions. Please smash the likes on the way out of the body of the Kirk, please, because it does help, seemingly, the algorithm, so I'm told. I'll ask my manager when I get appointed one. And wherever you go, whatever you do, take a bit of emergency Battenberg. It's always good to have it in your back pocket. Just don't sit on it. That could bring tears to your eyes. And whatever you do and wherever you go, be safe, be well. My name is Adrian Allen. The Theatre of the Mind. It's not a show. It's a mission. And the mission continues. Tuesday, 7:30. See you then.